we have some groundbreaking news to share with you. As promised, we have an exciting announcement that is going to reshape the gaming and blockchain landscape. But let's start with what has led us up to this occasion. Our mission has always been to establish an all-inclusive Web5 ecosystem, which represents the future of blockchain technology. Now, what exactly is Web5? In simple terms, it refers to the next generation of blockchain solutions that address the compliance, scalability, speed, scale, and cost limitations faced by traditional layer 1 blockchains. And this is precisely what our groundbreaking layer 2 approach to solving these challenges is. Today, we are thrilled to introduce Dark Fusion, the result of years of dedication and collaboration between myself and the brilliant team led by Dominik Abojkiewicz, co-founder of Dark Fusion Technologies. Dark Fusion is our solution to the fundamental flaws of traditional blockchains, and it will revolutionize the gaming, fintech, and traditional blockchain services industries. With Dark Fusion, we have addressed the inherent flaws of layer 1 blockchains. These traditional blockchains often face compliance challenges, scalability limitations, and issues with speed and cost. However, we have developed a proprietary smart contract language and protocol that empowers us to overcome these obstacles. This remarkable accomplishment sets us apart as one of the industry pioneers, possibly the first, to successfully tokenize assets on layer 2. So what does this mean for gaming, fintech, and traditional blockchain services? It means a paradigm shift in how these industries operate. In gaming, we are empowering users to tokenize their in-game assets, granting them true ownership and the ability to unlock their value. In the financial industries, we're pioneering as the first decentralized layer 2 exchange, providing lightning-fast, secure, and cost-effective transactions. And in traditional blockchain services, we are setting up a new standard by creating a new blockchain standard with Web5. But here's the most exciting part. We want you, our community, to be a part of this groundbreaking journey. We're inviting you, our Vara ambassadors, to the official case study, working hand in hand with us to shape and realize this vision. Together, we will build an ecosystem that drives innovation, fosters collaboration, and sets the new standard for blockchain technology. Thank you for your support, and get ready to embark on this remarkable journey with us. Dark Fusion is leading the way in creating a decentralized future that'll redefine the gaming, fintech, and blockchain services industries. Now, let's discuss the future of Dark Fusion with our creator, Dominik Abojkiewicz. Thank you. Dom, it's great to be back on this special occasion. I'm very excited today to talk about Dark Fusion. It's been 25 years in the making, a culmination of both of our life's work. We were chatting about it the other day, and how fortuitous it is that we've come to this point. The convergence now of true innovation through blockchain, gaming, fintech, and it's all to do with Dark Fusion. What a breakthrough. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm so excited to share it.
Dom, I want you to talk about the significance of what's going on here with Dark Fusion, and then I'm going to run through some pretty tough questions just so the audience really gets the significance of this breakthrough. So first off, talk to us around the technology that is Dark Fusion, the breakthrough that you've made, the tireless nights that you've been coding without much sleep, and now we're at this point where we've done something that's really going to turn heads.
Yeah, so to summarize it as cleanly as I can, I'd say the major breakthrough that we're bringing to the table is tokenized assets on the Bitcoin Lightning Network. And this is incredibly significant because it means suddenly you can move around your crypto assets at lightning speeds instantaneously, cross-border with incredibly minimal fees.
So what does that actually mean for the blockchain industry?
I think it finally means the beginning of the end of this fees and scalability debate, because we can start moving into a space where blockchains can do things that they previously haven't been able to do, specifically challenge Visa, challenge what PayPal does, possibly even challenge the SWIFT system, if I should say so.
How long has this been in the works for now? So we know of some other companies that are working on layer 2 Lightning protocols. Lightning's been around since 2018. What is the development roadmap? What's happened in terms of the cycles to get to this point?
Yeah, so it's actually been really interesting because you've always had this dichotomy when it comes to the Bitcoin blockchain between tokens and your main BTC. And one of the problems has always been, how do you bring tokenization to the Bitcoin blockchain, or is this even something the Bitcoin blockchain wants from a block space perspective? And there have been token protocols in the past like OmniLayer, but those eventually got pruned by full nodes. And what this has led to is this kind of stagnation from a smart contract perspective on Bitcoin, and you have had EVM kind of taking the forefront when it's come to smart contracts, but EVM's not so good at providing a layer 2 solution. And in fact, one could argue what's happening with sharding and proof of stake in the EVM environment is actually holding back a lot of the layer 2 development, because it's going to create a lot of complexity. So what we've really done is we've developed this smart contract platform called Simple Contract Language, which allows you to put smart contracts onto UTXO based blockchains, which suddenly means we can put smart contract technology on the Bitcoin blockchain, which then means we can embed tokens into Lightning channels on layer 2 and inherit all the cryptographic benefits of the Lightning network, which is incredibly exciting.
So you're saying we've developed our own smart contract that works on layer 2?
Not only our own smart contract that works on layer 2, but our own smart contract system. So this means other developers can join and develop their own smart contracts, get the benefits of layer 2, and plug into this whole ecosystem.
Wow, how many companies today have developed smart contracts that work on layer 2 currently?
I'd say right now there aren't any companies doing layer 2 smart contracts, simply because the whole idea of smart contracts up until now has been baked into a layer 1 blockchain. So if you look at Ethereum, the layer 1 blockchain and their EVM, the ETH virtual machine, are intrinsically linked. And what we've done, I'd say, is the big breakthrough here, is that we've taken the smart contract platform component and broken it free from its blockchain underpinning, but we're still using the blockchain to verify the validity of transactions. So you still get the cryptographic security of blockchain-based assets, but you don't have the the weight of an EVM machine, and you suddenly can scale it up to layer 2 and gain all these benefits of the Lightning network.
That's incredible, Dom. So we've now created the smart contract. We've tokenized assets successfully on layer 2, end-to-end working. Can you confirm that?
I can confirm that.
That's incredible, Dom. Now, if we take a step back, what we're effectively doing here is we're addressing the fundamental problems and challenges of traditional layer 1 blockchain. This is the solve. Now, there was a question that was posed the other day. Great, you've created this unbelievable innovation on layer 2, but how do we get people into the system? How do we get liquidity into the system to make this a ongoing, viable solution?
So that's a really interesting question. It's actually quite a tough question. So obviously there's always been concerns about liquidity on the Bitcoin Lightning Network and how to handle that. And we have got 2 liquidity scaling solutions built into what we're doing with Simple Contract Language. The first is what we call UTXO batching, which essentially means you can take multiple smart contract interactions and batch them into a single transaction. This allows you to scale the cost of using smart contracts horizontally quite efficiently, and allows people to do smart contract based dexes or smart contracts based exchanges quite cheaply. Because suddenly if you batch, let's say, 1,000 smart contract interactions into one $4 transaction, you're only paying 0.4 of a cent per transaction. So that's one of the ways that we're tackling it. And the other way is that because Simple Contract Language sits next to blockchains rather than embedded or on top of, from a layer perspective, you can have it be aware of layer 2 channels. So this is a concept we call synthetic liquidity, where you can have a layer 2 channel loan liquidity from the smart contract in order to facilitate channel payments that is then given back upon channel closure. And this is all embedded into the system.
So you've really thought about this end to end. It's not just about, finding the solve on layer 2, but it's also how do we scale this? How do we make it more user friendly? How are the larger communities going to adopt this technology going into the future?
100%. I think, from our perspective, it's very much been from a business use case scenario. We come from traditional gaming. We want to mint assets. We want to give people their items. We want to have 2 million gamers, shooting each other, dropping items, picking them up. And we want all of these to be transactions that can actually be cryptographically verified. So really very much from a need perspective, we've developed this technology with all of these scaling ideas at the forefront because we needed it more than anyone, like in a weird way.
This was really the problem solve from the beginning, where we were looking at it from a direct sales perspective, how we could address the problems in the direct sales model by instantaneous payments on the blockchain, and layer 2 facilitates that incredibly well. And then we looked at it from the gaming perspective in terms of being able to have true ownership of your digital assets, so your in-game assets with incredibly low fees. So we've looked at it on all fronts. So when we're building out this layer 2 solution, it was always with all of these verticals in mind.
100%. And it's actually really fascinating that you talk about true ownership, because that kind of brings me to real NFTs.
The NFT discussion. This is something to shout about.
So what we're really excited about with simple contract language is the ability to do what we call real NFTs. We kind of identified a fundamental problem with EVM-based NFTs when we were minting them on the Polygon blockchain. We did about 2 million NFT mints as an earlier pre-promotion. And in doing so, we had a real difficulty.
We spiked the gas fees.
Yeah, we managed to spike the gas fees to a degree where I think we were representing about 10 to 12% of the entire network's transactions at a point. This caused transaction fees to double in the time period we were minting. And it took us, well over a month to actually get through the minting of all the NFTs. And this really showed us the difficulty with, layer 1 solutions and scalability, and getting to a point where you can actually do this at a scale large enough to facilitate an MMO. And it was through those learnings that we kind of decided to take it further.
Wow, that's incredible. So one could say right now, we've created, when we say real NFT, this is truly non-fungible.
Correct.
How does that work?
So I think to start off there, you have to understand how an EVM NFT isn't real. And there's always these memes on the internet that people can take photos of the NFTs, or they're just images, and like, I think we get the memes, but what poses a bigger problem is that because you are embedding your smart contract platform on your layer 1, all your contract interactions are taking up block space. And this is actually a much bigger problem than people think, because you need block space to be small in order for your network to be sufficiently decentral, which is why Bitcoin has always kept very small blocks. So now, because of this, NFTs on these EVM networks don't embed the full data of the artwork. Instead, they just embed a URL pointing to the artwork, and they say this is sufficient for ownership. But the problem with that is if the person hosting the URL goes down, your NFT breaks. So I actually have NFTs.
So that's not true immutable ownership of a digital asset.
Not at all.
So there's a lot of falsehoods in the industry, a lot of myths around anything relating to layer 1, and this is a leading question now. So you've got your layer 1 blockchain. We're moving into the world of layer 2. The industry is buzzing right now. There's a lot of great companies in the space that are coming out with some incredible solutions to address the traditional problems. Now, what is the future of layer 2 when you're looking at layer 1? What happens to layer 2 once all these layer 2 solutions start coming into the space?
I think that's really going to be, when the crypto universe, for lack of a better term, takes off. because I think that what's going to happen over time is we're going to see all of our liquid crypto, so our liquid BTC, our liquid amounts sitting in layer 2 being transacted quite actively. And then I see layer 1 is going to be our storage of wealth. So that's going to be where crypto assets that are in cold storage, that are sitting, off a blockchain, for longer periods of time, it's going to move slower, but it's still going to be highly profitable for those supporting that network. And I think the other aspect is, as layer 2 picks up, we suddenly have the ability to really facilitate true decentral exchanges. And I think that the future of crypto exchanging in general is going to be one where it is decentral rather than centralized.
So now we've got to this point now where we've made this incredible breakthrough on layer 2. I want to know how this is applying to the Vara ecosystem, solving problems on all fronts, from self-custodial wallets to instant transfer of digital assets, incredibly low fees, instant payouts to the network. Can you elaborate on the value there?
100%. So Dark Fusion is actually bringing a lot of value to the Vara ecosystem in a lot of different areas. And the biggest area that people are going to feel this value is in the form of speed and low fees. You're going to be able to transfer your crypto very quickly. It's going to feel very different from other crypto wallets. You're not going to have this confirmation time thing that you have. Everything's going to be settled instantaneously. That's going to make a huge difference, not only from a paying perspective, but also a payouts perspective. Being able to receive your payouts instantaneously is a big deal. The other thing that it does is these are Lightning enabled nodes. So you can transact with anyone else on the Lightning network instantaneously, which is a huge benefit. And I'd say the final element that's very exciting to me is that it allows us to facilitate a true decentral exchange. So suddenly you'll be able to trade your Vara tokens with your DFT tokens, with any of your in-game assets, your cosmetics, with BTC, all just instantaneously in a decentral manner. And for me, that's really exciting because that's kind of the egalitarian crypto future I've always been for. So it's a bit of a dream come true.
So we're setting up our own decentral exchange. This will be the Dark Fusion DEX, which will be tied to the Vara universe. There's another layer of value here which I want to start discussing. So the first side of this is the Vara ecosystem, where all the ambassadors are incentivized. There's a lot of value that's building in this ecosystem, specifically from the Vara token. And now we're going to talk about the decentral exchange and what that means with DFT, which is the Dark Fusion token, and how that ties into the Vara token, the trading pairs, this secondary layer of value. So we've got Vara. Vara is our massively multiplayer experience platform where you can engage, you can connect, you have all the layer 2 innovations built into it. And now we're setting up this incredible decentral Dark Fusion exchange. What does the future hold in terms of the trading pairs and the connection of value?
100%. So, for me, the Dark Fusion exchange was really, we built this technology, we built these Lightning nodes, we started transferring assets, we looked at this, we said, this is amazing to use. Wouldn't it be great if we could pack this value in and build something that everyone can get something out of? And I think that was kind of the genesis of the idea of facilitating this DEX, because suddenly when you can trade assets instantaneously at low fees, it makes the act of exchanging crypto much more accessible. And the second that occurs, you can get these massive benefits from facilitating a DEX. So that was the genesis of the idea of what we're going to do with the Dark Fusion DEX. And then the next component to that was, how can we build value for those who help us support the DEX and keep it sufficiently decentral? And that brings us to the DFT token. And effectively, the DFT token, which is the Dark Fusion token, is a token that will be earned by those who help us support the network in the form of nodes, which will contain the information that keeps it decentral. And then that token will also be the primary trading pair across the DEX. So this means that those supporting the DEX early essentially get a similar benefit to those who got into Bitcoin mining in the early days or ETH mining in the early days. And this benefit also helps us keep it decentral, gets liquidity into the system, means people can benefit from it from a trading pairs perspective. And because everything is ultimately settled in DFT, that will help provide and create value for that token.
So the Vara token and the DFT token have a symbiotic relationship.
100%. So your Vara token, you'll be able to trade for any of the trading pairs through the DEX. It'll instantaneously be there. It'll be one of the front and center tokens, one of the first ones listed as well.
So Vara would be our utility token within the Vara ecosystem, and through the DEX, the DFT is essentially our liquidity token.
Exactly.
That's incredible, Dom. Now, I want to take it one step further. Now, we've looked at Vara, we've looked at the decentral exchange, which will be a first, hoping to be one of the first decentral exchanges on layer 2 coming soon this year. This is the big build up. But what does this mean for the future of Vara from a value perspective, specifically for our ambassadors? Now, they have incredible earning opportunities within the Vara ecosystem, but the future is very bright. Now, when we look at layer 2 technology, where we look at smart contract language, this incredible breakthrough that you've made, tokenizing assets on layer 2. Now, what other industries does this apply to? We're looking at the fintech industry, we're looking at blockchain services that also tie to the value in our tokens.
Excellent question. It's actually really amazing because, you know, as we were developing this, we were like, oh, this can be applied to so many more things than just gaming. You know, we can apply it to fintech, you can apply it to NFT marketplaces, to DeFi, to DAOs. All of these things can benefit from simple contract language, and they can start inheriting the benefits of the Bitcoin blockchain, which is the largest and most secure blockchain. You know, I see a lot of DAOs, a lot of DeFi protocols on quite small blockchains, you know, blockchains with a $4 billion market cap compared to Bitcoin's, you know, 550 billion. You know, those blockchains, they can get taken out. They can, you know, there's a high risk in you know, putting all your eggs in one basket. And I think that when it comes to security, the more secure blockchains are a better value proposition for where you want to keep your tokens. And it's always been speed and scalability that's been holding Bitcoin back from being this kind of house for tokens as a platform. And it's really through simple contract language and Dark Fusion that we can actually start making this happen.
So I just wanted to land this point, again, the significance of what we're doing here. We're potentially the first company globally to successfully end-to-end tokenize assets on layer 2. We're setting up the first decentral layer 2 exchange this year, coming through exclusively to the Vara ecosystem. And we've developed in-house, which is our proprietary technology, smart contract language, which will not only facilitate the future of layer 2, but will also work with other UTXO based chains. Is that correct?
100%.
Incredible stuff. And it really is the value that we are bringing to Vara that is going to enhance the ability to earn through our ecosystem, but also creating a new future of decentralization, empowerment to communities and people that are joining us. So lastly, I want to dive back into this journey that you've had to get here. I mean, you know, we hear about disruptions in the tech space all the time. Things happen, innovations happen, but what really goes on behind the scenes in getting to these points, this is not something that's just happened. It's been a long road. I just want you to maybe talk to that journey.
Yeah, so thanks for the time to talk about it, because it's a bit of a long story, but I'll try and keep it as brief as I can. But you know, there's a famous saying that an overnight success takes 10 years.
Yeah. And
you know, this journey really began for me in 2014, kind of at the genesis of Ethereum. This was when ETH was coming out. You know, I remember seeing a sub $100 Bitcoin and a sub $10 Ethereum. It was really a fun time in early crypto. I sadly didn't get much benefit from that because I was a student, but I was studying computer science at the same time that cryptography and cryptocurrencies were like getting the first bit of limelight. So I was very in tune with what was happening, quite fortunately, quite luckily, because I was at university at the time. And you know, I was studying games, crypto was coming out, I was getting into it, and then kind of my first foray into it was we started mining some cryptocurrency, started building some mining machines, playing around with that, and then eventually that evolved into building a crypto trading card game called BitCards, which was actually using the Omni layer protocol on the Bitcoin blockchain. and this happened right before Lightning Network and the fee spikes of 2017. So we were like getting ready to launch this. At the time, fees were low. We were super optimistic about crypto, and then right as we were going to launch, the 2017 price spikes of Bitcoin killed our business model. Because we priced everything in Bitcoin, we were ready to make a profit, and then suddenly it was $5 a transaction, and our booster packs, which cost $4, were losing us $1 every time we were selling them. So that was a hard lesson, and kind of our first experience with dealing with the cost of high fees and what that does to a business in the blockchain space. And then, very optimistic about Lightning Network. They do their original, protocol discussion. We start implementing a C# version of Lightning Network, but we don't actually follow through. So that was kind of a bit of a journey in the beginning of Lightning, and then that eventually led to developing of a hardware wallet that we were working on at the time, and we built a Bitcoin-based hardware wallet, which, there were a lot of lessons about how to sign Bitcoin transactions and how to, manage UTXOs, because when you're actually signing transactions on a 48 kilobyte microchip,
and just for the audience, what is a UTXO?
A UTXO is an unspent Bitcoin transaction.
Okay.
Or unspent Bitcoin transaction output, if you want to get really technical. But so then that's where we kind of got experience working on that. And then 2019 runs around, and then we're building money streaming systems on Ethereum layer 2 Raiden in 2019. So there we were playing again with layer 2.
So it's fair to say that this is, you wouldn't have got to this point without all those learnings.
100%. You really need the experience and the time and the learnings, and got to fall on your face a lot of times before you can get up.
So what is your vision for our company, Dark Fusion, in the future?
So for me personally, I would really love to see Dark Fusion being a front runner in bringing a democratic, egalitarian, sound money, to everyone. I want to see everyone having access to cryptocurrency, being able to trade, being able to empower themselves, being able to make their own businesses, being able to have point of sale in their pocket, being able to have a bank in their pocket. That's what I want to see. That's my vision.
Well, I think we're on the way there, and it's incredible what you've done. I'm so grateful and appreciative to be a part of this journey with you, Dom. It's been a long road with us, and again, it's just fortuitous that we are here today. Now, I want you to close off just again with how Dark Fusion is going to disrupt this industry, from the NFTs to the smart contract language to tokenizing assets. Just give us a final recap, because the audience needs to hear this, of what we've done.
So we're very excited because we're going to be disrupting the crypto industry in a number of ways. The first is that we're tokenizing assets on the Bitcoin Lightning Network, which means you can take your crypto tokens and trade them instantly with low fees, and you can do it across existing Lightning Network channels, which is very exciting. You can do batch payments, so you can send multiple tokens in a single transaction, and we're providing a simple contract language, which is a UTXO-based smart contract language, which is significantly more scalable than other smart contract language solutions, and will hopefully bridge the gap between business requirements and the current smart contract industry.
Wow. And it's all coming first to the network, to Vara, who have preferential access into this innovation. Thank you for being ambassadors of our system, and we promise this is a significant announcement that we wanted to deliver to you first. We really are changing the landscape. Thank you for your time, Dom. I really appreciate it. We will be doing weekly calls and updates on our progress, and a lot more to come in the coming weeks with some more exciting announcements.
Always a pleasure, Greg.
Great to be here, bud. Cheers.